Hello, welcome to the Gutter Rankings channel. I hope you're all keeping well. This episode, I've got not two, but three battles that I'd like to share with you. First up, I experienced some VGC 2014 nostalgia. Secondly, what not to do with your legendaries. And lastly, the third type of player you find on the online battle system. My first battle was against a player named Yoshi, and I'd also like to mention that when playing this Pokemon game, it's almost like playing chess. You have to try and predict what your opponent is gonna do, and cripple or take out their most powerful pieces, in this case their Pokemon. Now, Mega Kangaskhan is very powerful, and the support of Klefki really puts on a lot of pressure as well. And my entire team is speed based, right? And Kangaskhan is not the fastest Pokemon in the world, so I was pretty sure that I could outspeed him with my Shiftry and get the Fake Out of first. Now, of course, getting the paralysis on my Ninetails there, I'm not able to get the Will-O-Wisp off immediately, which I would have liked to do. I assumed that he would go for the Power Up Punch here, because that's also very popular. However, he ends up going for my Ninetails instead. Now my Ninetails is max defense, max HP, so he was able to survive here, and luckily he was not paralyzed and managed to get the Will-O-Wisp off. Of course, Will-O-Wisp halves your opponent's attack stat. I assumed here that he was gonna go for another Thunder Wave, which is why I shifted into my Donphan. Now, Donphan is of course immune to any electric type attacks, and thus Thunder Wave would have no effect. However, he goes for this Safeguard. Then I remembered that Swagger's Safeguard was quite a popular thing, because of course behind a Safeguard you cannot get confused, but you can still get the attack increase. He goes for Donphan, and Donphan is naturally very defensive, so he's able to take that quite easily. However, I knew I had to get Klefki out of there, because if I leave Klefki there, he's going to cause too much chaos. So I went into my Swanna wanting to Earthquake, and I wanted to make sure that Ninetales doesn't die to my own attack. He goes after my Swanna here, and my Swanna has no defense. And even if it had, I don't think it would have survived a swaggered Kangaskhan with Parental Bond anyway. I get the Earthquake off very easily, no problem. And Klefki manages to recover a little bit with the Citrus Berry. I should also mention that supportive Pokemon sometimes do not look intimidating, and they're very easy to ignore. However, if you do ignore them, they can many times be the cause of you losing the game. So it's best to take them out rather as fast as you can, especially if it's the person that sets up Trick Room. I was very happy to see Klefki go. Pokemon with Prankster of course gets priority added to all their status moves. Lovely shiny Greninja coming in. I didn't want my Donphan to die here, this I protected. Also protected Shiftry, and also knew that double protecting would mean nobody takes damage and Kangaskhan will faint to the burn. Garchomp coming in, yet another shiny. Now of course Garchomp has a lot of offensive pressure, but is very weak, quadruple weak to ice type moves. So the only attack that I have at the moment that can deal with that Garchomp is my Ice Shard from my Donphan. I assumed here that he was gonna protect that Garchomp, not wanting to lose it. Thus I went for the protect on my Donphan as well, assuming that he was gonna try and take it out. As I said before, that Ice Shard is critical in dealing with the Garchomp because I've got nothing else that can take it out. Going for the double protector and failing. Of course, if you use protect more than once, its accuracy drops to 50%. If you use it in a row, that is. So the game was pretty much over here. Greninja, even though it has really high special attack, it doesn't really have any defense. So even if it went to take out my Ninetails instead, I might have been able to get off an Ice Shard to take it down in the next round. The only chance that, of course, he had of winning here would be that 25% chance of being paralyzed. I can honestly say that it makes me a little happy when I find these VGC style games in the free play mode, simply because it's where I left off, so it's a little bit familiar. But there's also the chance of running into all of the legendaries at once. Now, Kyogre and Groudon were allowed in VGC, however there was normally strategy around using them. You do get a lot of people in the free play mode that simply sends them out because they're legendary and they're powerful, but they aren't really sure how to use them. So the thing about Kyogre and Groudon that made them so good was the weather. And Groudon, of course, is quadruple weak to water, and being in the rain means the power of water type moves are doubled. So he's effectively 8 times weak there. There's absolutely nothing you can do, he's instantly dead. So what you would normally do in the rain is you would have moves like Thunder or Hurricane because they cannot miss in the rain, or you would go with Groudon and use people who could use the sunlight efficiently, either Chlorophyll or Fire type moves that gets boosted by 50% there. Now when you send out Rayquaza, that immediately cancels the effects of weather, and Mega Evolving that, it puts up a different type of weather that takes away one-time weakness to all flying type Pokemon. But it's still weak to ice types. Now the Tailwind here doubles all the speed of the Pokemon on my side of the field. And of course Argent Pulse is a very powerful move, but it is a water type, Swanna is water, and I've got a grass type out, so it doesn't really do as much damage. Something like Ice Beam or Thunder would have been much more effective. Rayquaza starting to put in work there. And Pelipper, always want to say Pelipper. Pelipper has an Ice type move, which is still super effective against Rayquaza there. And the Rock Slide connects and it's enough to take out Kyogre. His Rayquaza is still hanging in there, it still has a bit to do. Its signature move there. Dragon Descent, and of course that's enough to take out my Pelipper. So I bring in my Golduck, and my Golduck has Cloud 9, which eliminates the effect of weather, which would mean the Airstream is no longer taking effect. My Golduck I reworked the other day. I took up its special attack as high as possible and gave it the choice space. Gave it Signal Beam to take out Psychic types specifically, which worked out pretty well in this case. Of course Rayquaza doesn't really have any HP left, and that's the end of the game. I think the short clip also showed you how not to use these Pokemon, because there wasn't really any synergy in his team. They're very powerful and they can easily win you games, but you have to know what you're doing. And like I said, there is a third type of player in the online free play mode. Not everybody are VGC veterans or legendary users. Sometimes they're just a little confused. I can only assume that it was a young child who entered the arena, and there was no way that I could get it over my heart to take him out. I was first thinking about just giving up immediately, but then I thought that he was looking for a battle, which is why he signed up, so I decided I was going to stick it out. I finally decided that I was at least going to take out one of his Pokemon, but RNG was protecting this child and Swanna was not going to land that Scald. Thank you for watching and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Bye!